Hello my friends, welcome to another Lissa video. Today I wanted to do a special video about what my life was like before I became a raw vegan. A lot of people ask me questions about what my diet was like before. Was I vegan before or was I vegetarian? What kind of diets did I try? Did I do all of that kind of stuff? So I want to talk about what my life was like before I became a raw vegan this time around. Now I've always known about raw veganism for about the last 12 years. So since about 2004 is when I discovered it. And I loved the theory behind raw veganism, the idea of eating clean, natural, whole, raw living foods, but I could never sustain it. I was always doing a high-fat version. I was always cutting my calories down because I thought that's what I had to do to lose weight. So I was always starving myself. I was eating too many fats and I was craving everything all over the place. I wasn't eating enough greens and fresh fruits and vegetables. I was always thirsty, and even though I felt better because I had stopped eating animal products and junk food for that period of time, it would only be like a couple days, maybe a week or so, and then I'd fall off. But during those times when I was eating raw, I always felt better and I always wanted to try and get back there again, but I was never able to, so I would always fall back. So over the last 10 years before I became a raw vegan this time around, I tried a lot of different diets. I tried the ketogenic diet, paleo style, low carb this, low carb that, eating healthy, eating all organic. Like I've done so many different diets. I've taken countless supplements, pills for this, pills for that, weight loss this, weight loss that. I used to work at a health food store, so I would have access to all of the most amazing supplements out there. But I never changed my diet. I never did what I actually needed to do to lose weight so that my body would get to the weight that it wanted to be. I was always trying to force it with like a pill or a diet or something like that that was unsustainable. So becoming a raw vegan was sustainable. I can eat as many calories as I want, as long as I keep it low fat and eat the way nature intended my food. I get my full spectrum of nutrition and all my calories. I am so satiated and full and happy. I want to talk about what I used to be like before. I was a yo-yo dieter. I would, lose a little bit of weight, like 10 or 15 pounds, and then I would gain it back and go further. 10, 15 pounds, gain it back. 10, 15 pounds, gain it back. I would go on these little 2-month weight loss challenges. I would lose a little weight and I'd be like feeling good, and then I'd bounce right back because I would binge, or I would allow myself to have cheat days, which would end up being cheat months. But eventually it got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. The day before I became a raw vegan, I think I remember pretty much what I had: 2 energy drinks, a bag of Doritos for breakfast. I snacked on candy. Lunch was fried chicken with ranch dip, and I don't like thinking about what I used to eat because I can actually feel my body feeling crappy from that food. I remember how I felt. And then dinner was the token vegetable with my sausage pasta meal. And then after dinner, we would just eat chips and watch TV. Typical stuff that I would do. My health before I became a raw vegan this time around, so before 2014, I had tons of health issues, but they weren't actually diagnosed health issues. So I didn't have anything like diabetes or MS or heart disease or whatever. I didn't have any of that stuff, but I had the typical stuff that ends up being something like that. So I had blood sugar issues, cravings. I suffered from candida. I was suffering from candida for the last 10 to 15 years. Been dealing with that, trying anti-candida diets. Would only work while I was on the diet. And then, I had to also be taking these herbs to keep it at bay, and it would always come back. As soon as I would add something in, as soon as I would eat fruit, it would come back with a vengeance, and I didn't know what was wrong. I suffered from bladder infections all the time, and I was sick every couple months. I couldn't handle stress, and I would just get sick. I was sick probably once every 2 months, and then I would spend all this money on stuff because you'd feel crappy, and you'd be like, oh, give me drugs. So I would take all this stuff, Neocitrin and Tylenol and AM, PM stuff. I had something for everything, and I would always spend all my money trying to get these things. I would use natural remedies. I ate countless cranberry pills for my bladder infections, and you name it. I was forgetful a lot, more than I am now. I mean, everybody forgets stuff, but back then it was really bad. I had blurred vision. I would always be trying to focus more because my glasses are very, very strong prescription. So I was just getting worse and worse and worse with my vision, and it was actually kind of scary. I had acne like crazy, and I'm going to put those videos here with when I talk about my weight as well. I had horrible acne on the sides, and it was just red, and I would be agitated and irritated by the stress level in my life and the crappy diet that I was eating, that I would pick my face and I would always have my hands on my face touching it, and the scars would last forever. They would never go away, and they were slow to heal because I wasn't getting the nutrition in. It was just a horrible state. I would look in the mirror and I would be depressed. I had depression, and I didn't like myself, and because I didn't like myself, I just ate junk food because I was like, what's the point? I really was in a bad state. I felt like it was useless to try and lose the weight. At one point I did a 2-month, another one of those 2-month challenges. I did lose a little bit of weight, but I hated it. I was in the gym all the time, working out so hard on very little calories. I couldn't sustain it. And then as soon as the challenge was over, I was binging on everything, and I ate pasta and chips and blah, 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 and lots of fat and lots of junk food and cheese and everything. And then I just ballooned right back up to 190 pounds. So I just was dealing with all of these issues. And when I got back up to 190, I thought, if it takes so much for me to lose the weight, and so strict with what I'm eating and starving and craving everything and not being able to enjoy my life, what's the point? Why don't I just eat whatever I wanted? And that's what I got to when I was 190 pounds, but I didn't feel good. I felt so crappy in my body, and my joints ached. It was so horrible. Sometimes in the morning I would have to actually, rotate my ankles for a good 5 minutes before I could even get out of bed because I was so stiff. My knees hurt so much I couldn't do squats at the gym. My back hurt. I couldn't even do yoga. I couldn't lay in a simple yoga pose, even child's pose. And without feeling my back just seizing up and just so sore and stiff from no hydration. I really was eating a lot of dried foods, almost all cooked foods, and not drinking enough water. The caffeine I was drinking was pulling water from my body as well. So I was very, very much in a water deficit. I had horrible sleep. I snored like crazy. I would wake up every morning, and I attribute this to the energy drinks that I used to drink. I was so addicted to them. I would wake up every morning about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it would feel like I was having a heart attack, and then I would feel like I was dying, and then I would think about death and what if I was actually having a heart attack? Is this what it's like? And then I couldn't get back to sleep, and then I would be scared of sleep, and I really hated bedtime, and I didn't like going to bed. So that was horrible as well. I had tons of water retention. I was holding on to so much water. If I touched myself, it would like bounce back. You could tell that I was just holding on to absolutely every ounce of water I could because I was eating so high salt and so much junk and so many cooked foods that the body was like, I need to hold on to every drop of water I can because I'm going to need it to help digest your food. I'm going to need it to balance out the sodium intake that you're giving me. My poor body was under so much stress in that aspect. I had tons of cravings. I was addicted to everything. I was trying to be healthy. Sometimes I would go to the store and I would buy a ton of fruits and vegetables, and I'd be like, okay, this time I'm gonna do it. This time I'm gonna be raw. And I would try for the day, and then I would just, maybe the next day I would be so tired I didn't want to do anything, and I would have all these justifications. Oh, I'm just gonna have a pizza tonight, I'll make veggies tomorrow. I'll make veggies tomorrow, and then they're rotten in the fridge, and then I'm like, oh, I feel so bad, and I wasted all that money, and blah, 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 blah. All of these things, I was so frustrated, so incredibly frustrated. My hormones were out of balance. My PMS was so horrible. My breasts hurt all the time before my period. It was really heavy, and the cramps were incredible. I would have to lay in bed because I couldn't move. They hurt so bad. And then I would break out like crazy before my period. They were irregular. I would go months without them sometimes, and then sometimes I would get them within 2 weeks. So it was like all over the map. I didn't even know when they were. I was tired all the time, lazy, lethargic. I had no desire to do anything. and I was freezing cold all the time. My metabolism was shutting down because I wasn't eating enough. I was always trying to calorie restrict to lose my weight. Just my life was just horrible. And even though I say that it was horrible, I didn't have a serious illness. I didn't have cancer. I didn't have heart disease or diabetes or any of that kind of stuff. But I was headed down that road, and I could tell, I think, probably my diagnosis would have been diabetes. I think that I would have ended up with that and heart disease because it runs in the family. Cancer runs in the family a little bit too. So I was headed down that road. I was headed down Diseaseville, and I didn't want to go there. But you know, when you're addicted to something, it's really hard to let go. And I understand how difficult it is to let go of those foods that you love, that you justify eating, that you eat in moderation, or because you're in transition, you still consume them. These foods we have to let go of. We have to realize that they're no longer doing us any good. We have to start putting those whole, fresh fruits and vegetables in. And my cellulite went away. There's little things like that that I never really paid attention to. My cellulite went away. My stretch marks have lightened. Like all of these symptoms that I listed have all improved. My acne's gone. My periods are regular. They're regular. They happen every single month, and very little pain, no discomfort. 70 pounds have gone off of me. I've released 70 pounds and I feel amazing. My skin is soft and moist. My digestion has improved. My metabolism has improved. I am a furnace. I'm no longer freezing cold all the time. I can do raw in the winter because my metabolism is fixed. I'm eating enough calories to sustain myself throughout the day and any exercise that I add on. I just eat, and I eat abundant, and I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So I hope that this story can help some of you out there. If anyone has experienced anything that I have, I hope that my story can resonate with you. You can learn something from it and increase your fruits and vegetables. Decrease the amount of animal products, if not get rid of them. Live a more compassionate diet, lifestyle, and add more fruits and vegetables. They are made for us to nourish us and give us that hydration and nutrition and everything that we are so craving. We need that, and we have been stuck in this processed junk food world for way too long. We need to wake up and we need to get going, because you're worth it. You are so worth it. Your health is the only reason why you exist on this planet. Without it, you won't be here. So you should treat yourself with respect. Treat yourself with respect and give yourself those foods that are going to heal you and make you feel so amazing. So I hope you guys liked this video. Click like if you did, and subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. You can find me over on Facebook at Lissa's Raw Food Romance, and Instagram at Raw Food Romance, as well as Snapchat. You can find me over there at Lissa Raw Vegan. So until the next video, guys, fruit on.